So I've had quite a few bad experiences with strange people in my house from when I was a young kid. An old man would come banging on our door late at night demanding to see me, causing me to have to hide in my house and not be allowed into my garden, which in England is called a backyard, alone for years. Or when a man came knocking on our door late at night with a knife because he mistook our house for my neighbor's. These experiences all occurred to me as very life-learning experiences. It was also a bit of PTSD that kicked into me later on in my life, which caused me to be very cautious about opening the front door to anyone or even being in the house alone, especially at night. But one evening was definitely the worst. It was around 6 p.m. in October 2018. I'm from England, meaning it was already pitch black outside at this time of year. I just got home from work and I was sat upstairs in my room just watching YouTube on my laptop when my mom shouted at me from downstairs that she was going to pick up my brother from work and would be stopping off at the petrol station on the way back, so she'd be gone for a little bit and asked if I wanted to come. I said no thank you and carried on with my video at ease. I heard her close the front door and pull out of the driveway. I was 17 at the time, so being home alone at night was nothing new to me, and I was used to the eerie feeling of it. But after around 10 minutes, I started hearing noises coming from downstairs. At first, I thought nothing of it and just related it to my cat noisily searching for food in an empty bowl until I remembered him sitting at the end of my bed. I paused my video and listened to the sound again, but then it was the same sound over and over again. Banging on the back door. This instantly creeped me out until I was followed by the sound of keys jangling. I just thought, oh, my mom must have dropped my brother off before going to the petrol station and he's trying to go outside. So I let the noise continue as I kept watching my video. He could get quite angry sometimes after work, so the loud banging was nothing. I carried on, but so did the banging and the sound of keys jangling, then dropping, then banging again. The fear really hit me. I don't think this is him. I walked out of my room slowly and sat on the stairs listening carefully to the noise. It definitely wasn't him. I'm an anxious person and everyone gets those times late at night when they think they hear noises and immediately think the worst. I just thought this was one of those, I told myself. So I decided to bite the bullet and just walk straight into the kitchen and face whoever or whatever was causing the noise. As a bit of a background, our kitchen has the door straight looking into the front yard. Back to the story. But as I turned the corner into the kitchen, I heard a loud bang and a clatter of footsteps run away. The mesh had been ripped off the door, and there was mesh from it everywhere. In fear, I tried to console myself into thinking it could be anything other than people trying to break in. I sat back on the stairs and called my mom just to go check, and that it wasn't my brother, to come home early and just in a horrible mood. But then he answered my mother's phone while still in the car. "Are you home?" I shouted at him. "No," he said back angrily. Then my voice started to break with terror. "Please be serious. Are you home right now?" Even though he said he wasn't, I still begged in my mind that he was joking, just to get a scare out of me. But he heard how scared I was and began to worry. I explained to him what happened and he started to scream at me to call the police. He's never been the protective type, but now I could tell. The anxiety is really getting into him. While dialing 911, I tried so hard to stay calm. I told him exactly what was happening, and as I hid back in my room with the door tightly locked, then I heard talking and the banging of doors again. Downstairs, they were back. I burst into tears to the dispatcher out of pure fear and sat on the phone, which what felt like forever, until my mom, brother, and the police pulled up at the exact same time. Everyone charged through the house to the back door, and we instantly saw what they'd done. The people saw the keys to the back door on the side, took a broom from outside, broke it in half on the door handle, got the broom through the mesh, knocked the keys off the side, and pulled them through the cat flap. Although, out of pure luck, as they broke the broom in half, they also managed to snap off another door handle, making it impossible for it to be opened from the outside. Otherwise, they would have gotten in. No questions about that. And I would have sat quietly in my room, completely obvious. Just know, always keep your keys in a place that if somebody breaking a window or a cat flap cannot reach. It was clear afterwards that they'd been watching our house for a while, waiting for the exact moment when they saw my mom's car pull out of the drive. I'm not sure if they knew I was there alone or not. So, assholes who can't open doors properly, let's not meet. Alright, that story was from Aurora X Sky, so please go check him out. That would be incredibly amazing if you guys could go do that. Story number 2. This happened to be about 6 years ago now, on July 1st, 2014. In Canada, July 1st is a national holiday, and in Vancouver, where I'm from, there's always fireworks in the English Bay around 10 p.m. The bay is located on the west side of the city and surrounded by a semicircle of beaches, which are all usually packed with locals enjoying the day off and taking in the fireworks. This means now that public transport is slow, particularly after 10:30 p.m. when the fireworks end. I just got finished a big project and gotten a little nice bonus from work, so I spent the day shopping with a friend, and then walked downstairs to the nearest beach to meet her up with some new others that she met from her university that was going to watch the fireworks and smoke a joint. Vancouver is a pretty bike-friendly city, and I normally bike everywhere, especially in nice weather. My friend's bike happened to have a broken chain that day, so we'd taken the bus out, which means we'd also be taking it home. After the fireworks were over, we were lucky enough to catch one of the first buses towards the east side of the city, where we both lived. The trip took way longer than usual because of both holiday traffic downtown and the bus itself being absolutely packed with people wanting to get on and off of every single stop. By the time the bus got us to our transfers, which was about halfway home for us, the trip would have taken about an hour instead of 20 minutes. This occurred to me as being incredibly weird and worried me a lot. I got into my house. I threw the keys on the counter, and it was around 12 o'clock at night, so I thought I'd call it a night. I went in and laid down in my bed and fell asleep until I was awoken with a sound. Just some banging sound coming from what appears to be my window. I took a look out the curtains to my window, and there the person was. The person that I saw so many times at the fireworks. He was at my window. This terrified me. I shut the blinds and called the police. The scariest thing about this person is that he looked exactly like me. Nothing different. Just exactly like me. I got online with the cops, and they told me that I should just wait there and they'd come soon. All I heard was consistent banging on my window. It terrified me. I was crying with fear. It was so terrifying. It was the most terrifying things I've experienced at one in my life. And then the banging just stopped as I heard sirens from about 4 blocks away. My blood and my veins were just rushing through to my head as I was pouring tears out of my eyes. Nice burning hot tears with fear in my blood. This has been 2 years now since the event happened, and I've never had something so scary ever happen to me as scary as this. Again. Alright, this is story 3. Thank you to Anonymous for that other story. I really appreciate that. And I'll give you an upvote on Reddit. And thank you so much. Story 3, end of stories. I worked at a boxing / MMA gym almost 20 years back, basically as a receptionist. We were deep in the ghetto. I almost didn't take the job because of the neighborhood's reputation, but the friend who recommended the place said it was the most fulfilling office work I'd ever find. So I gave it a try. He was right. Before working there, I thought I'd grown up in lower middle class and that I had a pretty broke life, that to the point here, compared to the quality of life in our community here, I was Bill Gates. The school to prison pipeline was standard around there. We accepted it, bigger than all of us, so we were just trying to divert as many kids away from it as we could. As a result, our biggest program was a teen MMA class that met every night except Sundays to keep kids off the streets. We had one kid from the program who is a total wild card. Cisco has been coming since he was 4 years old, and after the school fitness program, then rise through the ranks to become one of our specialty trainers and even a semi-pro fighter. But as professional and disciplined he was inside the gym, he could be as wild and crazy outside, but there was just too much going on at home. At the time of this incident, he had just turned 16. We had one fitness instructor, Sandra, who knew everything about psychology, nutrition, and all things, including exercise. But he was dumb as a brick when it came to common sense. She was always getting roped into MLM stuff and background checks when they were still called pyramid schemes. We poached her from a fancy franchise gym on the other side of town. The owner found out she'd grown up around here and guilt-tripped her into coming home. Whenever we had rich-looking prospective clients, we'd always send her to pitch them instead of usual outreach people. Finally, there was Alice. Alice was the golden child of our Beat the Streets program, growing up in one of the roughest parts of town, one sibling murdered and 2 in prison. But she was still in school getting straight A's and applying to colleges for the next year. She was our little wonder. She was amazing. She spent 10 years focusing on her Beat the Streets program, and she was never, ever to be a person to give up. The one day, one of the most terrifying days of our lives, she went missing. She was gone. She disappeared. Her parents didn't take her. There was a search team out for her for 3 years straight, since she was a risk to many, many people, since she knew the MMA skills that she did. She was too much of a risk to people, and she was too much of a risk to be out on the streets. Nobody has ever found her. She's missing, and it's still an unsolved case to today. Alright, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching while listening to my video. This is the first video. I will get better and better at reading scary stories as I go along. I'm sorry if you disliked it, because I really enjoyed reading this out, and I hope you guys subscribe, leave a like. It means so much to me if you guys do all of those. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Also, make sure to leave a comment down below on what stories you specifically like or want me to do. Have an amazing day. Good night.